In the rapidly evolving world of retail media, few platforms are as uniquely positioned as DG Media Network. With more than 20,000 stores, Dollar General serves as a lifeline for over 90 million shoppers across the US at a time when all shoppers are looking to save money. DG Media Network, media built better. Hey gang, it's Monday, November 24th. Sarah, Austin, and listeners, welcome to Behind the Numbers, a market video podcast made possible by DG Media Network. I'm Marcus, and joining me for today's conversation, we have two folks. We first introduce our principal commerce media analyst living in New York. It's Sarah Marzano.
Hi, Marcus. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And secondly, special guest, Vice President and General Manager of DG Media Network, based in Dallas, currently in Nashville. Who knows where next? It's Austin Leonard.
Hey, Marcus. Hey, Sarah. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. Anytime we have a special guest on, we start, of course, with a speed intro. So, first question is just for you, Austin, because our listeners know Sarah already. What do you do in a sentence?
I help my team help brands grow sales and brand equity through the retail media business at Dollar General as the general manager of DG Media Network.
Very nice. Second question. What's a tiny detail about your daily routine that has a big impact on your day?
Yeah, tiny detail is I'm really big on working out first thing in the morning, especially during the week and when I'm traveling. It just really helps get me going, fights off any of the cobwebs from being on the plane or being in the airport. And especially when I'm home, and make sure that I don't cut into family time at the end of the day and or give myself an excuse to skip a workout.
Have you ever... I tried to do that, and then after like my third push-up, I'd just fall asleep on the mat.
Same.
It's once you can force yourself to get out of bed and get going and put your shoes on and splash water on your face.
What about in the winter?
What you did the night before.
When it's dark.
I don't go outside to work out.
It's not a tiny detail. It's very impressive.
Are you a morning person, Austin?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also a night person, so it doesn't always work well.
Good God. There's too many things. How about you? How about you, Sarah?
Well, first of all, I had a whole one sentence about what I do prepared, and now I feel cheated. But
Sarah, what do you do in a sentence?
I'm an analyst who gets to look after the exciting world of commerce and retail media. Never a dull moment.
Everybody knows.
I know. I like talking about myself.
Industry influencer,
yeah.
And one of the smartest people in the room and in every room.
LinkedIn influencer.
Austin, please don't encourage this.
Marcus, I have to encourage.
My head just grew.
I enjoy the entertainment.
A tiny detail about your
my
daily
tiny
routine.
Detail is that I justify an $8 cappuccino on my way to work every day. Mm-hmm. But wait, I have a second. I do a second one that's very niche and not super applicable.
I get a second.
All right,
I just want to warn you.
I'm just doing it. The thing that really makes a difference in my day is that my husband and I have like a very strict every other day policy with my 2-year-old who wakes up at 5 a.m. every day. And it's just this like non-negotiable, like if I got up with him yesterday, Mike's getting up with him tomorrow. And it makes things so freaking easy. And it's really on my mind because he's out of town this week. So it's been me every day.
I'm going to pass on my second tiny detail on that one. I don't want to add that story. I appreciate that as well.
I've been up for hours.
So when he comes back, does he have a series of days in a row?
It's just too complicated. It's too complicated to figure out the back. Like we just go right back into the every other day routine. Like neither of us is on enough sleep to.
Nor should you be keeping count. Like that's one of the key lessons is you don't do the tick marks, mostly because dad will always lose. He's the best. And anytime I can get even a couple on my side of the thing, it was great.
You'll take
but then
it,
you start the math again, you're like,
no, we're not putting pen to paper here. Yeah.
No box scores in parenting.
And I don't want to do it when I go out of town. I don't want to have a deficit built up.
That's true.
That's true. This goes both ways.
Well, they are our two guests that we have for us today. Today's real topic: DG Media Network, scaling retail media for the last mile of America. Let's start at the beginning. Austin, you guys launched Dollar General, DG, as we'll be referring to it often, Media Network, 2018. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Speaking 2018.
Who is DG Media Network, and what makes this retail media network, commerce media network different, unique?
Yeah, sorry, you threw me off there for a second because I thought this was a parenting podcast with a side retail media. I didn't think we were going to actually get right in the retail media section.
We're talking about work, that kind of work.
Yes, okay, yes, sorry.
He had cute kid stories ready to go.
Back to the day job.
Yeah.
So Dollar General serves as America's neighborhood general store. We have over 20,000 locations across the U.S. A DG Media Network, as we call it, is the team and the platform that connects advertisers to our customers through digital media and in-store signage, activation, promotions. And we're unique because of the massive scale that we have across the US, but we've also got coverage in markets that most retailers can't or won't build stores, which means that we bring incremental audience reach to almost any retail media or national buy because of the power of our audience and the size of our footprint.
And I want to pause for a second there, just like to come back to more than 20,000 stores. Like I think about that often, Austin, when you first joined Dollar General and we had a call just about like what brought you to the opportunity, and you were telling me a little bit about the retailer. Like I've been in retail for a long time, and I of course know Dollar General, but I remember when you said more than 20,000 stores, and I had to stop you because I could like barely kind of believe my ears. Like that's insane scale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't make
and
sense.
scale the team here has been building so much over the past couple of years, and we continue to grow so that we can reach more communities. And it's obviously a big part of what we do. We launched over 500. We opened almost over 500 stores this year.
That's
So
wow.
it's yeah. So the scale and size and the ability to reach people is a very big part of it. But our mission is serving others, and so being able to serve folks that are typically in underserved communities is a big part of it. But we're also in all sorts of different urban and suburban markets as well. So we cover the entire swath of the U.S. And the stat that we like to use is 75% of Americans live within 5 miles of a Dollar General. And when you combine that with the number of stores of over 20,000 stores, those numbers start to come and make a pretty big impact.
Hmm. I believe it was one of your colleagues. I don't know if was it Brooke who was on the call with us last time, saying it's not just over 500 stores, new stores, it's 4,000 remodels as well. So you're still paying attention to those other
Yeah, and
stores that
that's
aren't brand
huge
new.
when you think about like maintaining a fleet like that. And I think that's something that comes up for a lot of retailers is you end up, like I won't name names, but you've got sort of like the examples of the stores they're putting effort into and the examples of the stores that are like being neglected. And so I can imagine just that focus on maintaining your fleet being such a crucial part of maintaining that consistency.
This year, we've remodeled over 4,000 stores as part of our Project Renovate, Project Elevate. So, yeah, it's something that we're really reinvesting back into the experience to help deliver more value for our customers. We also expanded into fresh. Nearly all stores have fresh grocery like dairy, cheese, eggs,
Mhm.
etc. There's actually 7,000 stores that have fresh produce now as well. So a lot of people don't know that we have that
Got
fresh
it.
produce. So we're
Mhm.
actually by store count the largest grocer in the U.S. as well
Wow.
in terms of having fresh.
So zooming out a bit, what elevator pitch for your current store strategy and how it ties into the objectives of the network? What would you tell folks?
Well, yeah. So the part that I love to talk about with DG Media Network is it's because of the store footprint. It's not been built like other retail or media networks. So we have a very unique opportunity to begin with because of the number of stores that we have. But we also we didn't have an e-commerce business up until about 2021. And so our digital engagement
Mm.
was not as big when you think about when retail media really started kicking off. And so we started offsite and in store first. And so the ability to actually leverage the power of the data and closed loop reporting was a big part of our strategy. But within our stores, we have a really robust business because we've got great tools to reach shoppers at the shelf, in the aisle. We've got traditional shopper marketing tools like shelf talkers and in-store signage, supported by our partners at Neptune and Vestcom. They've got connected shelf offerings that can actually link the physical shelves to digital incentives so that we can find ways to help save our customers more money. That helps drive more digital engagement and it helps our shoppers save even more money.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's a big part of the value proposition for our stores and how our shoppers like to shop.
No, I love thinking about that and like just the value proposition for yourselves as a media network, because when you think about the way you developed, because you didn't have that digital presence right away, you went offsite and in store first. Like you figured out kind of the hard parts of this first. And I think that really puts you in a different position than a lot of the other retail media networks we see operating in the United States who kind of followed a playbook that sort of went along the lines of like, we're going to monetize our on-site properties first, which isn't as challenging of a proposition compared to going offsite and in-store where measurement gets a little bit tougher. Or if you think about the fact that on-site is like one sort of contained environment versus thousands of physical stores that you have to think about what are the formats we want to bring in, how do we want to deliver value to our advertisers. So I think that as retail media in the US sort of recognizes like we need to move offsite, we need to crack the physical store sort of dilemma. It's fascinating to like look at a media network like Dollar General's and be like, oh, you guys sort of went that way, to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're also being very intentional about how it grows too. So we've been piloting in-store audio. We have it's a pilot. It's about 6,000 stores.
I think we really have to clarify that like it's a pilot, but 6,000 stores, right? Like that provides a lot of scale, right? Which has been a big thing about what's been missing in the in-store retail media landscape again here in the US.
Yep, and just about a quarter of the fleet. So people are like, when are you going to get the rest of the fleet? But we've been piloting it because we think it's a really interesting way for brands to tie into their national messaging into our customer store visits. It's also a very efficient way to help them drive incremental sales and also have some of their national brand messaging, at a point when consumers are really in the mode to receive those messages. But when you think about how the digital tactics come together, some of the in-store signage, and then we're obviously we've got this pilot with in-store radio. We also have been very intentional about how do we want to measure that together because it's a big topic, and we want to make sure that those all work together. So, for example, from a digital tactics standpoint, we fully believe, and we have seen it in the campaign results, that when you use digital with the in-store tactics, they are better together. So you get that synergistic better together effect. We just released a case study a couple weeks ago where we analyzed campaigns that had shelf signage in store plus DG Media Network digital campaigns live at the same time versus those that only had a standalone shelf ads campaign. That's the name of the product for those that are at the shelf. And we saw a 27% increase in average incremental sales lift versus the standalone tactic. And those campaigns had an average incremental ROAS of $4.66. So we are driving results, and those together will actually get a better return for advertisers because they're running together.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it really speaks to the massive opportunity that in-store is sort of overall, but also that crucial layer of like how important it is for some of the analog tactics and the emerging digital tactics to work together, right? Because it sounds obvious when you say it, but your shopper is not differentiating them, right? And I think in-store audio is so fascinating. I think we can get very myopic when we talk about in-store retail media and sort of think through only the sort of sexiest activations or thinking it only means digital signage, right? Audio feels like such a natural fit, right? Consumers are used to hearing audio while they shop in stores. Most retailers have some sort of audio system, and it's just, I think, a perfect way to sort of layer in some of that messaging that can help influence the consumer's sort of shopping experience in a way that doesn't feel disruptive, right? So it's very cool to hear the results that you guys are seeing from this.
Yeah, additive to the customer experience because it helps support the ability to bring in music and relevant content into that environment. And given the size of our stores as well, is that we're big enough to carry all of the major national brands that are out there. We're also small enough that it's very convenient. So folks might be on a stock-up trip, or they might be doing a quick fill-in trip. And we believe with the size of that, it's also a good fit because it's the audio has the ability to reach customers wherever they are in the store.
Yeah, that's a crucial part of it, right? Is like the makeup of the store, right? Thinking through like how cavernous is your store, how small is it, and how do you tweak the audio messaging or make sure audio is going to be impactful, right? And I think too about like the proximity of the consumer to the product that they're hearing about being a really important part of it. So I think being not too big is probably a crucial piece of audio working well.
Yep, I totally agree with that. But again, it's for us, it's really still in its early stages. Is one of the reasons that when Tony Rogers called and asked me if I was interested in talk about the role, that I got excited because in store is a big part of owned and operated inventory, as it's typically called in the digital publisher world. But we've got a whole bunch of opportunity to create some really valuable assets within our stores as well. And we also have a unique opportunity to really innovate at scale, and brands are increasingly embracing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. a lot working. I want to talk a bit about some of the challenges. Sarah, I'll go to you first because when we're thinking about some of the questions for this episode, you were saying measurement emerged as one of the kind of major challenges in retail media for advertisers, for retail media networks as well themselves. Tell us some of your thoughts about the measurement challenge, and then Austin, I'd love to hear how DG Media Network is figuring this out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think anyone who pays even a little bit of attention to the retail media industry sort of knows that measurement is kind of close to the top of the list of advertisers' pain points and frustration when it comes to the efficacy of their investments in retail media. But recently, eMarketer, in partnership with Bain, fielded a survey to retail media teams who sit inside retailers themselves to better understand how they're building their organizations, what opportunities they see, and where they're getting stuck. And I think something that was really fascinating is that measurement emerged as a top pain point for the retail media networks as well, right? And I think what's fascinating there, if you think about how these media organizations are being built inside of retailers, there's a lot of new skill sets that are being developed kind of in real time around how you work with brands as advertisers. And because in a lot of ways we're sort of, I don't know, building the plane as we're flying it, or the car as we're driving it, we're seeing retailers really struggle to, they sort of know measurement is something they need to figure out, but they're having a tough time with it. So I think there's a real opportunity, especially when you think about how competitive the retail media landscape is, for retailers to really focus on investing in this skill set, right? I think the ones who do and the ones who are able to deliver measurement that advertisers are happy with and that they trust and there's credibility behind have an opportunity to really competitively differentiate themselves from the rest of the pack.
And we need to do it in a way that helps them feel good about their investments. So I think first and foremost that, especially for the folks that we work with that are very close vendors and have products on our shelves, we need to make sure that what they're investing is driving incremental sales, and it's helping them find new customers. It's helping them be able to move more products through our stores with every campaign, every dollar. That's the first thing that they're relying us on, because with the power of our closed loop reporting and the ability for them to trust and to doing it, it's the easiest way for them to get accountable media. The thing that got me really excited as I joined DG is that the measurement has been built according to the IAB standards pretty much since day one. So brands should be able to easily understand our choice of methodology. Allows us to report, return on ad spend, ROAS, which I know is favorite for everybody. So it's a hot topic these days of how much ROAS, but clicks and all the standard media metrics according to accepted industry standards. But it also builds confidence that when we report on incremental ROAS and those new buyers, that they know exactly how we're calculating these success metrics so that they can defend them. And trust me, we get it. Like we recognize that brands are dealing with a ton of complexity, and their CFOs are very tuned into their retail media investments and in overall marketing. But that just means that the accountability is on us, and we're working really closely to make sure that we extend that adherence to IAB and measurement guidelines. We're also we joined the IAB this month. Yeah, it's November still,
Yeah,
right?
it still is. It kind of feels crazy. Yeah.
But for the first time, Dollar General and DG Media Network are members of the IAB, and that was one of the first things I came in and said, we're building according to these standards. This is the industry trade group and the industry association that has done the best job of trying to help put these standards out there and create something that makes it easier for brands and retailers to navigate. And we became a member. That was one of the biggest first priorities. I'm super excited to make that happen.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think the work the IAB is doing is such crucial work in terms of building that blueprint for retailers and retail media networks to sort of adhere to, because when you do that, you're able to provide some of that transparency, to your advertisers, where they really understand, to your point, how you're calculating those results, right? And they can feel really confident in their investments moving forward. And I think for advertisers who have no shortage of retailers coming to them and saying, like, well, you need to invest in our retail media network, having that confidence and even being sort of excited to invest because of the results that are driven is going to be such a crucial factor moving forward.
Yep, I totally agree. I also think that for the brands and they're looking for folks that are hoping to partner, I think that transparency and the ability to build trust together so you can build campaigns that grow businesses together is part of the secret sauce of retail media. And we're investing to continue to get better every day. So I feel like we're aligned with retail media market, and we've got that great measurement foundation.
And it feels like building some of this hygiene sets you up well to, again, leverage the scale of your physical stores, right? Because I think that's one of the other things, like for retail media overall, is that measurement does get a little bit more complex as you move into physical spaces. So I would imagine that your sort of rigor around this adherence to industry standards around measurement and being able to deliver to your advertisers is something that will hopefully be a tailwind for you as you look to scale your in-store even further.
Yeah, the decision science and analytics team here at DG is incredible. Like they blow me away with what they've been able to do. My measurements report and insights team on the DGMN team works very closely with them so that we have all the tools and the data that we need. And because we've been doing the in-store tactics for so long, our ability to do the market match test, and we can do pretty sizable holdouts, given the footprint and the breadth of the data that we have, so that our market match test is along the exact same guidelines as well from an IAB standpoint. So we feel pretty good that we're doing our best to be a good part of there.
No, that makes a ton of sense. And I also imagine I'd love to hear more because you have this rigor around measuring the efficacy, and because you're doing things like measuring analog formats along with some of the emerging digital formats, that probably gives your overall organization more confidence in the investments that are necessary to scale retail media further, right? In terms of thinking about getting all the cross-functional stakeholders on board, that this is important. This is something that will drive business for us. It feels like that's important to do both from an external standpoint, getting your advertisers' confidence, but I think getting your organization's sort of vote of confidence is crucial too.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you've heard the earnings reports, we've got a lot of great support from leadership, and they're really excited about what this business is doing and where it's going.
Yeah, awesome.
So 4 weeks until Christmas somehow. So this year nearly over. Austin, what are some of the main focal points for DG Media Network in 2026?
Yeah, and so as we just talked about, we are a strategic growth lever for DG, and we're really evolving into that within the organization and really helping to deliver for our brand partners. We've got a clear mission to really spark change and accelerate opportunity in underserved markets. Our vision for DG Media Network, for DGMN, is to be the most innovative, collaborative, consumer-centric retail media network so that we can bring the most value to DG shoppers and our advertisers. And those are very specific because we do have the benefit and the ability to help both of those parties out. And I'm putting a big focus on making sure that the experience is great, that things that we're bringing are going to be relevant to our customers and our shoppers, and things that we think will be helpful for them in terms of helping them either save time, save money, maybe have some of those surprise and delight moments with things, like experiential sampling and things like that. But we also have to be really focused on the core of the business, the foundation around self-service tools, making sure that we continue to enhance our performance measurement. We're working on automation on the back end, and all that is in service to make sure that we can serve our advertisers better as well. And I think that's an important part of what we're trying to do for 26 is continue to be a great partner and maybe even be an even better partner as we go into the year.
Sarah, Commerce Media 2026 trends report. We'll be talking about that on the show, probably the retail show, would make sense, in January. But anything that jumps out from that report that, broader, zooming out, you think the whole industry is paying close attention to next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm very focused on, again, sort of like how these media organizations that have been built, occasionally, I'm not speaking for Dollar General at all here, but like occasionally in silos right here in the US because of the sort of fixation on the online channel, are thinking through how to integrate more cohesively with their organization, right? I think that's going to be really crucial in 2026 because as a lot of retail media networks are learning, building with an on-site focus is one thing, but truly scaling is another thing, which I think is what's so fascinating about organizations like yours, Austin, in terms of like figuring out some of the hard parts first. But I'll be watching that really closely. I think there's a bit of a sort of education awakening that sort of needs to happen among the media folks that find themselves operating within the industry of retail. And there's a ton of opportunity that comes with that. So that's what I'll be watching really closely.
Hey, as you're thinking through those organizational changes and where people are growing, a great example for us is that, my team, we roll into market and I report into the CMO. And for DG delivery, for example, we're building out our e-commerce capabilities and our first party delivery across our network of stores. And it's a huge priority for us as a business. And also from a media standpoint, it gives us new opportunities to help bring value to our customers and advertisers. So that's a huge priority for us as a team for next year.
Yeah, and I love that like the fact of where you're positioned within the organization probably allows you to sort of enable that quicker decision making to make those things happen. When you see the opportunity, you're able to kind of act on it and get that buy-in that you need.
Yep, absolutely. Our CEO called us the linchpin of the digital strategy.
Hey, print that out.
I know. I'm gonna get that framed, put it on the wall.
I like it.
It's a good one. And again, we talked a lot about in-store in this episode, but we didn't get a really chance to talk about the work that we're doing with our digital commerce and how we're building our e-commerce business, which is a really exciting part of our business as we're becoming more of an omni-channel retailer. I like to call it building the last mile of e-commerce for the last mile of America. And it's really important because we're actually bringing new service to our customers that typically have been underserved by a lot of the advancements in same-day delivery and in e-commerce that's out there. So it's a whole different area of growth that our brand should be really excited to partner with us on as we help our customers start to save more time while still saving money through this new service.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think when you think about the scale of those more than 20,000 stores, like that's a distribution network that is enviable for every other retailer operating in the United States.
We like to think so too.
Excellent. Well, that's unfortunately all we have time for this episode. Thank you so much to my guests. Thank you to Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, and to Austin.
This was a pleasure, Marcus. Sarah, thanks so much for having me on.
Yes, indeed. And of course, thank you to the whole production crew and to everyone for listening into Behind the Numbers, an eMarketer video podcast made possible by DG Media Network. I'll be back on Monday. No Friday episode this week, but you can tune into the Reimagining Retail show this Wednesday as Susie goes through our November list covering the top 8 things we are most thankful for from retailers this year. Happiest of Thanksgivings to everyone except Jermaine, because I really needed to beat you in fantasy football this week.